my goodness.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we all doing today?
We are doing perfect.
Perfect. GMGM,
Perfect.
GMGN, GA, depending on where you are in the world. It's
Good.
great to see everyone here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. The chat is going absolutely wild.
Super excitement. Everyone is ready. The day is here.
Holy moly. Well, I guess we got to drop a whole lot of alpha.
Yeah, I think it's time to finally share some of the details, kind of discuss what we've been cooking, get some of those questions that the players have been asking about. It is time. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready? Are you guys ready? LFG, man. Let's do this.
That's great. Look at all of that. Man, that is so
We get
good.
some
LFG, everyone.
meowing in the chat. Like, sometimes I just gotta say, like, a little story. In Singapore, like, you have a lot of neighborhood cats, and they like to kind of hang around the sort of housing districts. And sometimes at night, when it's like a full moon, they all go into this caterwauling moment, and it's just is a cacophony of cat cries. Can we get some cat cries in here?
Yes. Yes, look at all of that.
Yeah, we actually do that at the studio, by the way. If people, some people aren't aware, but we whenever there's a new joiner at the studio, we welcome them, and then we all give like a huge meow. It's yeah, it's mental.
It's great. We actually did that in the Cajun game night the other day. I made them all unmute their mics and said, "This is how Nyan Heroes does it, so we're going to do it here too." And it was so cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that. That was awesome. So I guess that's kind of enough small talk, right? Shall we begin? Shall we get into the meat of things?
Yes, yes, let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Tyler, aka Diffy, community manager here for Nyan Heroes, and I am joined by the renowned, esteemed Max, founder of Nyan Heroes. Hi, Max. How you doing?
Good, GM. It's good to be here. It's great to be here, everyone. We are all super excited about our upcoming token launch, and I'm sure you guys are all super excited about it as well, mostly in the context of the airdrop and all the details surrounding that. I've been crazy busy, as you could probably imagine, over the past couple of weeks. Just kind of, doing a whole bunch of things, but also fighting a lot of fires. I have been able to pop my head in here and there to the sort of Twitter comments, as well as some of the comments around the Discord. I think a lot of people are wondering about the airdrop details. A lot of people are also maybe suggesting that they're kind of losing hope. Like what's happening with the airdrop? When's it going to happen? I'm worried that the studio. I'm worried that Nyan is going to let us down. I kind of saw a few responses like that. I sincerely hope we don't let you guys down. Excited to get into the rest of this town hall, or Heroes Hangout, as we like to call it, and share with you everything that we have cooking.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think that a lot of the work has been going on for months and months, and we hope that everyone is excited for what's to come. I've been, participating in the airdrop, the play to airdrop campaign that we've been doing, and finally to kind of see their, the work that they've been putting in kind of come to fruition. So for anyone who's brand new here, if this is your first Heroes Hangout, your first town hall, or this is your first airdrop, this is Nyan Heroes. We're a team auto battler shooter on Solana. We're a free-to-play game. That is the goal. We want to be able to have everyone enjoy Nyan Heroes and the game itself. And this is something that we've been working on for several years. It's this really cool culmination of tiny cats and giant mechs fighting it out for glory and to be called champion in the kind of world that we've created. Max, can you talk a little bit about kind of the Nyan Heroes IP real quick for any of our new joiners that have been here?
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to quickly shout out a couple of comments that I saw very interesting. I will dye my hair blue for Nyan. And then someone followed up with, I will go bald for Nyan. So, all right, if you guys show us verifiable on-chain proof that you have done so, there's some catnip rewards in store for you guys.
I love that. That is so amazing.
Um,
Okay, well, let's just jump right
yes.
into kind of TGE. Quick overview for anyone that hasn't been paying attention, have been disconnected, touching grass this weekend. Shame on you. Our TGE, our Nyan token listing is finally here. It's happening tomorrow, 8 a.m. UTC. We have some really amazing listing partners. Bybit, BitGet. Uh, Backpack is here with us. Have I missed anyone else? HTX is another one. Max, can you talk a little bit about kind of what's the expectation from the team tomorrow with the listing and what can kind of players expect with the listing tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, so you mentioned most of them. So our main launch partner is Bybit. Very, very grateful to have them on board. But we're also launching on Gate. We're launching on HTX, previously known as Huobi. We're also listing on BitGet. And then two of the Solana darlings, Backpack Exchange, obviously kind of spun out from the initial Mad Lads initiative, and then Cube Exchange, which has recently been pushed fairly hard by Solana Foundation. So, very happy with that initial list of supporters. We do have other exchanges that we are engaging as well off onto the side, but those will be our launch partners. We do also plan on having sort of seeding some Dexes post launch. So when we do that, of course, probably some of the community will do that anyway. But when we do that, we'll obviously let people know about that too. As for the team, we're all really excited about this launch date. It's been a long time coming. We've spent a lot of work, putting hours and blood, sweat, and tears into making sure that this all goes correctly and right. A lot of the team worked, many weekends in a row for the last few months, just showing the dedication to the project. We're really excited. We're also happy, I guess, that the market is holding quite nicely. And yeah, I mean, as for what we can expect post token launch, I mean, no one truly knows. We've done a great job building up the community. The airdrop campaign was obviously a huge success, but also our game numbers, are no joke. We've managed to kind of through the course of the last couple of months establish ourselves as probably one of the most popular Web3 PC based titles on Epic. There has not been any single title that has come close to our metrics, and we're really, really happy with that. I mean, obviously, I think we've laid the groundwork really, really well for a super successful token launch, but ultimately, no one knows, but the man upstairs. So we leave it in the hands of the community. We leave it in the hands of the investors and the backers. Ultimately, we are confident in our product. We know that we are going to be one of the, if not the first breakout title to, I guess, onboard the traditional gamers at scale. And we're incredibly excited about what the token in terms of the utility of the token, how we intend on using it in our ecosystem, and how we intend on leveraging that kind of momentum and narrative of the first Web3 breakout title to onboard the masses. We haven't seen it so far in Web3 ever, and we're excited to sort of try and be that pioneer in that breakout title.
Yeah, the success of Nyan Heroes, especially in the Web2 community, has kind of has took us by surprise. Wouldn't you say? In terms of just kind of the interest there, the people that I think there's always this trouble, or it feels like all these projects have this goal of like, oh, onboard Web two kind of stuff, and we haven't really seen something like that. But then, can what was the number of that we kind of determined based off like how many just organic like Web two players had kind of discovered Nyan Heroes?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I think one of the incredible things about our launch is that we were launching on Epic Games as a PC-based title. So already we are, in terms of access, there is far less access to PC-based gamers compared to other games doing things on mobile or Web3 browser, or for example. So I think in terms of the downloads, we got over 200,000 downloads. These are mid-core to hardcore gamers. And these are usually a lot of premium users, and so I think that already puts us head and shoulders, over a lot of, for example, browser-based games. At least not necessarily in terms of quality or fun. I think that's subjective, but at least in terms of mindshare. Because when a mobile title sort of gets traditional game users, or a browser-based title gets traditional game users, it's pretty cool, but it doesn't have the same impact as a PC title, quote unquote triple A in quality, high fidelity, going neck and neck with other titles like Valorant, Apex, Overwatch. It doesn't have the same level of mindshare, and so that's what we're really going towards. In terms of the Web2 gamers that we got on board, we had over 20% of our entire player base registered as Web2 gamers, and we were able to extrapolate that because those were the users that never actually connected their Epic accounts to our web-based missions. And of course, if you're in Web3 and you're doing the play to earn and you're playing the game and you're not connecting your Epic account to the missions board, well then I'm sorry to say you're probably NGMI. So we assume that those players are Web2 players, and that was over 20% of our player base, which is incredibly exciting. Obviously, a lot of them came from the Epic Game Store themselves. They saw the wish list. We got a lot of traffic actually to our website from the Epic Game Store, and they probably saw a bunch of Web2 creators playing the game. We know for a fact that those creators shared out their codes, and those codes were used heavily amongst their community. So we're really excited. We think that we probably have a really good initial starting foothold in the traditional gaming market, and we absolutely are planning right now our business strategy to go to market in the traditional space. We're talking with publishers in various geolocations, partners that we'll be working with closely to start distributing there as we move forward.
Man, it is so excited to kind of see the growth. Chat, I want to see to the moons. This is really big, and the plans that the team has to kind of grow beyond just kind of what I think a lot of the just regular Web3 success looks like is fantastic. Now, can we going back towards the token? So a lot of people are new here specifically. Can you give a really brief overview of kind of the Nyan token itself and what its purpose is within Nyan Heroes and the IP?
Yeah, I mean, back 2 years ago, we were sort of toying with this idea of dual token. You might still see some information online about dual token. Ultimately, that never proved itself to be sustainable. So we are a one token economy. Nyan is our one and only on-chain token, and essentially drives the entire sort of backbone of the Nyan Heroes ecosystem. There are a few sort of major utilities of that token, and then minor utilities that we're working into the game. So major utilities, obviously, it is the gateway token for players to actually mint their assets. We're calling this process awakening. And so assets at default will start as regular game assets. And this is designed to ensure that there is seamless, frictionless onboarding of traditional gamers, because they don't want a wallet. They don't want to know that it's an NFT. They don't want to see any of that stuff, deal with private keys. They just want to play the game. So the default layer is that all assets are standard game assets. There is an awakening process that will require NYAN Token to actually mint these into their awakened forms. And that basically unlocks those players to participate in our NFT gated rewards pathways. So when you're just playing the game, when you're using these awakened assets, those users will gain access to a rewards pathway that regular, sort of free to play players don't have. Essentially, they'll mostly be unlocked through the token itself. People will get token rewards for playing games. They'll also get premium currency rewards for playing games. And as for the seasonal rankings, they'll also unlock additional tiers of rewards just for playing with Awaken assets. That will be the main kind of utility of the token in the game. That is definitely something that Web3 users will be onboarding through as well. People can either choose to mint them directly or they can, trade them on the marketplace. So speaking of marketplace, we do have a vibrant in-game marketplace plan. It's heavily P2P. And essentially, we want to use our marketplace transactions as a surrogate marker of in-game GDP. And we aim to grow the in-game GDP. And that will essentially allow us to scale our sort of the Nyan fee making prospects. So we charge a fee on all marketplace transactions through NYAN Token. So again, that will further drive demand to that token. And by the way, all of these fees that we charge, they're not going to us or the studio. They're going back into the platform. So that's just something important to note. There are some kind of minor utility cases of Nyan that we're still kind of trying to think around. We know that we will be using it for these things, but we haven't quite determined how much. So people would be familiar with the rental system in many sort of Web3 games. We are going to have a similar rental-based system for our in-game assets. People who own these Awaken assets will be able to rent them out to players who don't. And in turn, they'll be able to take part in a fee share or revenue split for the players that are using those assets. So the idea is, even if you're not good at the game, but you have some pretty awesome Awaken assets, you can rent them out to maybe a free player who is absolutely cracked. They'll be able to use those assets in ranked mode, and they'll be able to earn a much higher return than maybe you would otherwise be able to do yourself. And for me personally, I've got old man reflexes. I'm not going to be able to do that. So maybe there'll be a player that can do that on my behalf. As part of that rental process, there will be a fee. We're going to try and keep it small, but that fee will also be paid for in Nyan. And then finally, obviously, people know that we are targeting esports. We've partnered with 4 great esports teams already, a lot more in conversation. We plan on growing our grassroots esports community as well. And so there will be some form of entry fees as part of esports tournaments, whether you're grassroots community team or even the big esports teams. We're sort of using that as our franchising model. And so kind of entry will be determined based on Nyan Token. And then obviously the rewards will also be quite enticing as well, regardless of what level you're entering. So those are some of the main utility cases. We do also have staking involved for Nyan, so people will be able to stake, gain additional special access to certain things, additional rewards and privileges, and some level of governance as it relates to certain areas of the game development. So that is essentially what Nyan Token unlocks. We've kind of piled in everything into one multifunctional utility token, and that will essentially be driving our entire ecosystem.
Man, that is so much alpha. That is just really exciting to hear, to see that these plans are kind of laid out. And to everyone, we just recently updated our white paper, so it includes kind of the flow chart of the Nyan token itself and its lifeline. So always make sure to check our white paper. We'll update it when we can, and we'll always make sure to notify people when we make these updates. And then as these plans continue, as the team cooks further and further, and we have more details to share about this, we'll definitely have more Heroes Hangouts. We'll make announcements and more information about them as they come along. So there's plenty of utility, right? It seems that the team has kind of laid that out. So there's obviously this use case for Nyan tokens for the listing tomorrow. Max, can you talk a bit about kind of what the initial circulating supply is going to be?
We've been working closely with some investors and key sort of tokenomic experts in determining what our initial supply will be. And if people have seen some recent threads in crypto Twitter, they would actually know that this low float, high FDV strategy is proving itself not kind of viable in the long run. And that's what we've always thought to ourselves, that, we don't want to have that playbook because it's just artificially inflating the price, and you've got low circulating supply, you've also got low liquidity, and a huge sort of shelf of overhead inventory that will eventually just inflate anyway. And usually, what happens is that inflates in a bear market, and then it's just down only for forever. So our approach is actually to ensure that we have decent amounts of initial circulating supply. We want to make sure that there is adequate supply so that you can get more organic price action and less overhead. And ultimately, we want to sort of ensure that that inflation is curbed to a decent degree. So we are currently targeting a 12% initial circulating supply. We do have inventory that we'll be releasing sort of in small amounts over the next few months. However, I think 12% is a pretty good starting point. I know that there are some projects out there who are targeting 5%, 6%, 7%. That's not really something that we are trying to do ourselves personally. It's just a different strategy. We're not saying that anything is wrong necessarily, but this is our kind of vision, and we want to try and ensure that we have organic price action. We want to ensure that a lot of that initial float is sort of executed at launch, so that there isn't this huge overhang.
Yeah, that's really great news. What are the plans currently to kind of reduce the selling pressure, right? Like I know that BitGit has, I'm sorry, Bybit has its own kind of like launch pool. Is there something that the team is working on to have its own form of like staking to earn Nyan?
Yeah, we're going to have our own staking function rolled out post launch. We're looking at 2 weeks, I think, is the rough plan. I believe the some of the exchange based launch pools last for about a week anyway. So if you guys want to get involved in that, you can stake your Nyan on some exchanges in exchange for more Nyan. It's basically free Nyan, so it's totally up to you guys whether you want to do that or not. And then after a couple of weeks, we'll have our own staking protocols initiated. We plan on obviously allocating a pool of Nyan as rewards for staking. But beyond that, we plan on sort of encouraging people to stake longer in return for staked Nyan, essentially. And that will be a surrogate marker to reward people further with all future airdrop campaigns. So the more you stake, the more rewards you get, the more multipliers you get for all future airdrop campaigns. In terms of like sell pressure and things like that, it's really a tricky topic. I'm not going to say, oh, we've got all these things planned in place to reduce sell pressure. Ultimately, my goal is if people, are just here for the token and they want to sell, just let them sell. Let the seller sell early. Get them out. That's totally fine. We don't sort of begrudge anyone for doing that. We know kind of what our vision is, the backers that we have. The ultimate vision for the token and the project itself is many, many, many multiples beyond what we're listing at today. And so if people want to sell, I think people like to call them jeeters at the moment. So let the jeeters jeet. Let them do their thing. We will find our organic, natural valuation through that, and we will grow from that base in the correct way. We're not going to sort of try and artificially like the low float strategy. We're not going to try and artificially inflate that FDV for numbers and metrics and vanity. So yeah, if anyone wants to claim their airdrop and just sell immediately, we encourage that. In fact, it's probably better for the project long term.
Yeah, yeah. This is good news. Super excited to hear about kind of what's up, and it's true, right? Like there is a group of the community who are just looking for kind of the tokens itself, a quick buck here and there, right? The farmers. Our community has been super vocal about that, right? It's from what I've seen, the people who are here that have stayed here are definitely a community of gamers. They like the project. They want to be here for the long term, and they care very much that everyone else around is also this community. And since we're talking a bit about the airdrop, there's a lot of questions that the community wants to know about, and I think that it's can we share a little bit of the details about the season one, right? In terms of what does the airdrop look like? I think for most importantly, it's airdrop win. can you tell us kind of a bit about when will players be able to kind of claim their airdrop in terms of the relation to the TGE?
Yeah, I guess this is the question that everyone wants to know. But someone's already kind of clued in onto it, sort of above in the comments, because I was already talking about letting the seller sell if they want to. So yeah, they've kind of the clues already, the clues already been given out. We will essentially open up our claim portal that will live somewhere in a subdomain on Nyan Heroes. Now, make sure that when you're going to claim portals, that you're getting the website from official channels, because I'm sure you guys are aware there's going to be a ton of scams out there. So, top tip, don't get scammed. If you get scammed, it's on you, because there's so many scams out there. If people get tricked at this point, clicking on links that after it says, this is the last post, then, don't get scammed. You're not going to make it if you keep getting scammed. So follow our official channels. Make sure that you double, triple, quadruple check addresses for the official claim address. It will live on our website as a subdomain. That will be open pre-launch. So we're going to open it up about half an hour pre-launch. People who are hopefully awake or staying up will be able to claim their tokens pre-listing. Depending on what exchange you are already KYC'd with and have an account with, you can then do whatever you want. Take the time that you need and transfer to the exchanges. Half an hour should be ample time. So that is the plan for our TGE tomorrow. Keep an eye out for the claim portal, and again, triple check. Please don't get scammed. Don't get drained. There is nothing that we can do if you click on a scam link.
Yeah, this is so important. We've seen this so much over, just the past week, especially over the weekend as we've gotten closer. We started to talk a lot more. We see a lot of different scams, by emails for free NFTs or on Twitter, these fake accounts. And what's something that I've seen within the community and that I love is that, we try to remind everybody about safety precautions and always looking to make sure that announcements and official information is always coming from our Discord or our Twitter account. But players I've seen kind of come in and they ask, is this legit or not? And the community has been so fast to respond about whether or not it's a scam. It's been really great to see. I love that in kind of our community. But as Max said, the airdrop claim tomorrow will be on our website, nyanheroes.com, with a subdomain. We'll give you the exact link when it goes live tomorrow. And always make sure that whatever email you get about Nyan Heroes, whatever you see online about Nyan Heroes, if it's not coming directly from us on our official channels, it's probably not real at all. So always make sure about that.
Yeah. Also, a quick point, it's not only open for 30 minutes. We're going to keep it open for about 4 weeks. So you have time to claim. You don't have to claim it in that first 30 minutes. It's not the only time that the portal will be open. So yeah, for people that are less in a rush, you still have 4 weeks to claim.
Yeah, and so the claim will also be through your wallet. So at the portal itself, whatever wallet that you connected to the mission dashboard or for season 1 in order to farm meows will be the same wallet that you connect in order to claim your airdrop token. It has to be claimed. It will not automatically be sent to you to your wallet. You must go to the website and claim it yourself. And as Max said, you have about 4 weeks to do so. And if you don't at the end of that period, then those unclaimed Nyan tokens will be used as something to give away to the community in the future. Okay, so Max, now that the players know that they're able to claim, I know that the team has been working really hard on kind of figuring out the last bits of information. They're spending the most time eliminating all the fraudulent and the Sybil farmers within the system. But have we nailed down the final token amount? Like, what can we expect in terms of like the total tokens available for season 1 airdrop, and if we're able to kind of talk about the conversion ratio yet?
So at the moment, we're actually still running through the list to make sure that we have filtered out all the kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, cybers or exploiters. So it's going to be very difficult to actually provide that ratio right now, and especially because the points that we've assigned in the dashboard, they haven't had their multipliers applied to them. So if you guys are looking at your points on the dashboard, they're not with the multipliers. So any ratio that we provide now, based on raw points, is not going to reflect that. So we still need a bit of time just to make sure that we're getting rid of all the cybles as much as possible. And then we'll have that information. So I won't be able to give it during this particular Heroes Hangout. I know that. But if we come up with a ratio that, ahead of time, we might be able to do an announcement. What we do know is that we have allocated, in terms of total tokens for airdrop initiatives, we've allocated 3.5%. So this is something that we've kind of been working with for a little while. This is something that is consistent with the Marvia drop as well. And so ultimately, we've done some calculations on the back end as to how many tokens that could potentially result in people that participated in the airdrop. And we do think that it's a fair amount. Obviously, it depends on the final price of the token, but we do think that is quite a good amount. We've done kind of averages. We've also had a look at the highest. We've had a look at the lowest, obviously, and that is the percentage that we've come to. Now, I think a lot of people will want more. Obviously, everyone is going to ask for more. But this is something that is consistent with the industry. This is something that, again, we are doing a lot of our launch based off a Marvia comp, and this is what they did. So we believe that this is consistent with the industry. So anyone who, I guess, is wanting more or saying that there should be more, this is the amount that we've come up with internally.
3.5%. Wow. And this is only just for the first season of the airdrop, right? We intend to have more airdrops as we kind of move along, right? Obviously, season 2 is well underway, and so there's definitely more ways to earn as well. So don't think of this as like, a lot of projects. I think they just have like a single airdrop as to kind of get their token out and then never again, right? But there'll be definitely more ways to earn Nyan Token going forward, as long as you're kind of with us with the project itself, and kind of being with us during our journey, our development process.
Yeah, I mean, like some people are saying, well, in your tokenomics, you said 33%. This is the total community pool. This is not the initial airdrop pool. This is the community pool that kind of gets distributed and through emissions over the lifetime of the game. So, I mean, if someone is thinking that it's a 33% airdrop, then I think you're new, to be honest. We will be doing a lot more airdrops and prizes throughout the lifespan of our game. Obviously, between now and the final launch, there will be multiple airdrop missions as well, more seasons, more campaigns, each time delivering another portion of that initial pull. And the idea is, if you look at the tokenomics, those 33% is distributed over 48 months, which is 4 years. So that's where the 33% comes from. So for anyone who's thinking that it was going to be 33%, and now it's suddenly 3.5%. Yeah, I think you were kind of starting off at the wrong foot initially. I think in terms of a lot of the comments, we've kind of based it off what we feel is a fair value from people who are playing the game. I think what we established was if you're playing the game and you're not doing anything leaderboard related, you were just grinding the sort of daily, weekly event missions. I believe the rough amount of points that you would get to is roughly around 400 or 500,000, give or take. I could be wrong. But I do think it's sort of around the 450,000 point mark. That is not going to be a $10 drop. I can't say how much it's exactly it's going to be. Obviously, it depends on the final price of the token, but it's not going to be a $10 drop. So whoever's saying $10, that's not a real kind of response. For people that ranked on the leaderboard, what I can say with certainty is that the amounts distributed based on people that are ranked on the leaderboard, as well as people who took our multipliers seriously. So, for example, people that held Guardians, people that held Genesis Nyans, people that maybe had some of our partner NFTs, people that got involved in the referral program. Those multipliers really stacked up. So when we were looking at some of the people on the top leaderboards, these are guys that are probably going to end up with anywhere between, I would say 50 to 100,000 tokens, depending on where you ended up. And that's for leaderboard rewards. So, ultimately our goal is to ensure that people play the game, they tested it out and made their own sort of judgment on what they wanted to do, whether they liked it, whether they wanted to grind for it. It's totally up to you. You can grind other play to airdrop games as well. But, based on the leaderboard rewards, based on people who are completing the in-game missions, we definitely gave a lot more priority to those players. So, I don't think people will be disappointed.
Yeah,
Obviously, the kind of, I think the crowd there'll always be some people disappointed. But if you and I'm just if you're listening in the audience and that you played the game, you did your dailies, you did your weeklies, you ranked up, maybe you weren't on the top. You didn't have to be on the top of the leaderboard, but if you did decently well, and you did your dailies and you got a decent amount of points, maybe you collected the first tier of your referral points, you definitely got that 1.1 for doing the weekly missions. Maybe you had a guardian, who knows? Even at that entry level, we have done some calculations that if you are one of those people, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I think that was always from the start, right? Was that this was our campaign? We even called it the Play to Airdrop, and it's the community we truly want to build, right? These gamers, the feedback that we get from the community, the bug ports that we get from the community is just amazing. The amount of kind of commitment that these players have to our product. They really believe in you and the team, and everything that Nyan Heroes is doing, and then get rewarded through that, right? And that's why our airdrops will always be this focus, right? It will be towards playing the game, trying it out, telling us what you think about it, and earning some Nyan onto that.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a few comments. Is it 3.5% of the community pool? Or is it 3.5% of the total supply? 3.5% of the total supply. That's an easy one. The other thing is, I think in the chat as well, and again, I'm sort of addressing you in the audience directly. If you played the game, if you did the missions, you'd have a decent amount of points. If you're someone in the chat that is saying, hey, I worked really hard and I have 10,000 points because I liked a few things, and am I going to get like $1,000? No. In short answer to your question, if you got 10,000 points, on the web missions and you didn't do anything in game, you're not going to get thousands of dollars. For people that played the game, for people that did the in-game missions, for people that actually spent hours and hours and hours of their time grinding, that's who are getting the lion's share of the rewards. obviously for people that did the web-based missions, you're going to get something for sure, but you can't equate clicking buttons once a day to someone like I saw Alex JJ here, who spent literally 20 hours a day grinding the ranked boards, and people expecting that you're going to get something similar. It's not going to happen. So if you play the game, if you did well, if you did your leaderboards, if you did your daily missions, you'd probably have a couple 100,000. In cases of people that ranked on the leaderboard, maybe a few million. Add the multipliers onto that, multiple million points. You have nothing to worry about. We obviously value people that play the game. We are a game at the end of the day. We want people to play the game, and we want people to sort of enjoy it, hopefully, while they grind. Obviously, there is some element of every game that has grinding in it that inevitably, you can get a bit bored sometimes. I do think it's more of a symptom of games like RPGs or MMORPGs, where you're kind of forced to collect things like leaves and nuts and kill squirrels and whatnot. Hopefully, in a PvP-based game, because you're always fighting other real people. And we didn't have any bots, by the way, in the game at all. We never put in any bots. That PvP element is what brings more excitement to the people that actually spent time grinding the game. So, again, I just want to reiterate: if you grinded the game, if you played hard, you will be rewarded. For the people that have a couple thousand meow points for doing some web missions, you're probably not going to get thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. Kind of we're always a gamers first mentality, and that's always who we kind of want to see within the community, and what we reward the most. But it's not just gamers, right? We also have a very a loyal group of holders. Our DAO members, our NYAN DAO members, who've been around with us since the beginning, right? They I guess essentially in turn helped us get to this point. And a couple of years ago, we did have this airdrop for the DAO holders, right? They kind of voted themselves onto it and set those. Will that also be included in the TGE tomorrow?
For the DAO holders, we're also including it. Correct. Yeah.
Yes, and anything for the airdrop that comes for the our holders will also be through the claim portal. So you'll see that total list. If you've been with us since the very beginning, since 2021, since 2022, you've been a part of our community. You'll see the allocation from the airdrop of the DAO group, as well on top of whatever you got in season 1. It'll be just kind of this giant lump sum that you're able to receive from the claim period.
Yep. Exactly right. It's all going to be through the same claim portal to make it easier.
So, okay, great. That's that talks a bit about uh, what the season 1 looked like. I want to jump into season 2. Right? This is the introduction of the very first rank mode, and there was a lot of back and forth from the community in regards to some of the changes as well. I want to know how does the team feel about season 2 right now in the rank mode? Like what is kind of the big key takeaway that the team has gotten from the players?
Yeah. A lot of things, to be honest. I kind of I want to just sorry, one more touch point on the airdrop claims. Um, it's I think there's two things that I want to share. Um, I do feel bad for the people that, for example, were only able to do web missions, and for whatever reason, they didn't have the specs to play the game, or they, for whatever reason, couldn't join. I'm not sure why. But you know, our goal was always to reward people for the time spent. Obviously, playing a game is a lot more, active time spent compared to the web missions, and so that's why we sort of staggered the rewards towards people who played the game. Now, when we actually kicked off this airdrop campaign, we didn't actually expect as many people to join as we got. So one thing to note is that obviously with more and more people joining the airdrop, the pool is shared more broadly. So that's one point. It's just I'm sure everyone knows it. It's not rocket science, but I thought I would just put it out there. Second thing is obviously people will be getting a wide spectrum of rewards when the claim comes. So tomorrow when they claim, there's going to be a wide spectrum of rewards. We know that. I think we all understand here that some people are going to be getting a lot, particularly people that played the game. And some people are not going to be getting that much. People that spent a little bit of time on the web portal missions, that, didn't really do that much else. There is going to be, obviously, I think we can't avoid it. There's always going to be people that say, hey, I claimed this and I got, not that much. They'll probably share on the timeline. That's to be expected. That's fine. It's part of the game that we play. The only thing I would encourage anyone here that was playing the game, anyone here that, did grind and, claims tomorrow and sees a large pool of Nyan in their wallet, I encourage you guys to actively share that in the community, because it's important to see where the weighting goes. And it's not just going, in small packets here and there to people that did a bit of web farming, that we wanted to ensure that to uphold, I guess, the integrity of the campaign in rewarding users for their time. That's ultimately, what it's about, for their time, as well as engaging with the actual product, with the application, whatever it is, whether it's DeFi, whether it's gaming. Ultimately, that's the name of the game. If you don't engage with the application, if you don't spend any time using it, if you don't spend any time playing the game, which is what we are, then you're not going to be as rewarded as heavily as the people that do. That's just a fundamental law of nature. So again, wanted to put that out there. I know that people generally understand this concept, but there's going to be a lot of people that don't. So anyway, encourage you guys to all share, people, especially people that did do well, the rewards. And I think, we should be quite happy with those. As it seems to be playing out internally, like I said, we haven't come to the final conclusion yet. We haven't done the final calculations yet. But the way that it's tracking at the moment, people who spend time in the game won't be disappointed. The question around season 2, we have a ton of learnings from season 2. I mean, I think for people playing season 2, you would be well aware of the learnings that we have as a studio. We've been monitoring it. I've tried to spend as much time as I can sort of reading the feedback from everyone. There's a lot of improvements to be made as it relates to the MMR system. This was our first iteration of it. We pushed it out in kind of blistering speed. We literally started working on it after season 1. So this iteration that you guys are seeing is the pre-concept iteration. And the great thing about it is that, yes, we knew that there were a lot of problems. It's not perfect. It was probably a little more hardcore than we had originally intended. We actually kind of got inspiration from chess, the system in chess, which is very old and very hardcore. But from all the data that we've gathered, from all the feedback that we've gathered, we are in a great position to iterate on that. Obviously, what we have now in the game is not our final vision, is not our final goal for the MMR, but we had a ton of data come through for this playtest. So I just want to kind of shout out everyone that's playing, kind of sitting through the MMR process, giving us feedback. It's all super important, and this is in the ethos of, developing openly. We're going to get some great feedback, obviously, around the game. We're also going to get some negative feedback about certain elements of the game. We're not scared of negative feedback. In fact, we encourage it. That only helps us to make the game better in the future.
Yeah, it's really important to note that the feedback that we get from players, good or bad, is absolutely wanted by the team. As we always encourage people to use the feedback channel in order to post your suggestions, your ideas, your changes to whatever kind of you're experiencing, as well as having these discussions in in the game discussion channel or even Nyan in general. As long as the feedback that we're getting, whether you're mad about something or because for example, losing a lot of MMR, which is like the same as 3 games, 3 wins or something like that. This kind of stuff is okay. We love that. We love this feedback. It helps us to improve the systems as long as it's constructive, right? So continuing to share your feedback, give us suggestions on what you like, what you don't like. How can we improve these systems, and then over time, we'll go through it. But we're constantly listening to players, right? We're having one-on-one discussions. We see groups. We're obviously looking through the feedback and the bug reports in order to kind of stuff. And you've even maybe some of you've even seen some of our team members, like our executive producers, even development directors, kind of in the chat asking questions from people or just kind of responding to players. So we care very much about the feedback loop, and we encourage everyone to continue to do so. Thank you very much. Now, can you tell us, will there be any more future updates with regards to season 2? I know we have about a week left. Season 2 officially ends on the 26th. Is there anything else that the team is working on for the rest of the season?
I think the only kind of last thing that we are looking at for the season in the way of any updates is that with the latest one there was some party creation issues, so we are looking into that. I do think that there is a fix for that, so hopefully we will be able to patch that through. Other than the party issues, I don't think there are going to be any significant changes for the rest of season 2. There's only 6 days left in any case, and we will take the learnings from that. We'll iterate on it, and we'll ensure that season 3 is bigger and better, and I guess a better user experience for everyone.
Speaking of season 3, what is kind of next for the team? Like what can the players expect? Is there any alpha that you can share about what the team's been working on, or what we can see in the next coming months?
I would just encourage people to go to our Twitter. We shared some alpha over the weekend about some of the newest kind of game mode slash maps that we're working on. It was a fairly exciting post. So yeah, I would encourage people to take a look at that for some nice visuals. So with that in mind, yeah, we're working on more maps, we're working on more game modes, we're working on more characters, as well as more weapons, more abilities, more game systems, more of everything. I think, and also like we're doing a few things on the UI and UX side to improve and refine the visuals as well as the experience. We're also working on a better custom lobby experience as well. The one that we kind of built was very, very kind of I guess bare bones. We are planning on I think it would be a complete rework of that custom lobby experience to something that is more user friendly.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. Willie, actually, one of the Rangers, just posted one of the early concepts of the looks, as well as Doflamingo posted one of the new mechs that are coming out. So yes, lots and lots of new stuff coming, as well as fixing kind of the old stuff. Uh, that's actually really all of the questions that I had. Do you have a few moments? Can we ask get some questions from the chat? I know that we've kind of answering it as we've been going along, but kind of pick out some of the questions that we like in order to kind of answer. One of the things I saw was, will you need to log into your Twitter or your wallet to claim for tomorrow? So you don't need your Twitter at all for the claim period. You'll be able to connect your wallet, and then it will look for whatever allocation is tied to that wallet. So some of the people I know have had some frustrations logging into the mission dashboard recently. The Twitter API has really is the cause of this, so it's nothing to do with the website itself. we're always trying to fix it and improve it in order so you don't have the experience, but you won't need to rely so much on logging through the Twitter if you've been having problems. You'll just use the user wallet. Okay, let's take a couple questions. Will there be any arbitrage around Backpack and Bybit?
Uh, I'm not really sure what the point of that question is, but I don't think arbitrage is something that regular users are getting involved in. There are obviously a lot more bigger people kind of at play, market makers, bots. They'll be doing most of the arbitraging. I think if you are a player or a community person or someone who's farming airdrops, I wouldn't even bother trying to arbitrage. You're going to get absolutely wrecked.
Yeah. Okay, I saw something. When's the next tournament for Nyan Heroes? Great question. We absolutely loved the Guardian Showdown that we did in season 1. Plus, a lot of our partners also kind of ran those things. But as Max mentioned just a few minutes ago, we're reworking the whole custom lobby experience. That will allow us to really expand our ability to have more tournaments, allow the community to create their own tournaments if they like. I think fixing the lobbies, adding like a spectator camera or something is something that the team has also talked about. So once those kind of come online and are in a state ready for the community to be able to experience, we'll do many more tournaments. Will season 2 be until the May 26th, or will you extend it until the 29th, maybe? Currently, the season 2 is still set to conclude on the 26th of May. It might. I don't know. It's up to the team to decide that. Leaderboard rewards, Max. Are you able to talk a bit about the leaderboard rewards for season 2?
Oh shoot, we haven't published that yet. Yeah, we are going to be publishing that soon. I think the team got caught up in all of the exchange listing conversations. Yeah, we'll be publishing that through Discord later.
Great. Let's see. What else do we got? OKX and Binance. As we said, our initial listing partners have already been kind of announced. The NYAN Token may appear on other exchanges after tomorrow, and we'll announce when that happens. Will there be any new game modes in the near future, season 3, such as deathmatch or flying sniper?
I don't know what flying sniper means, but
A,
that sounds
a ghost
awesome,
with the ability
and
of flying.
I would love
Yeah.
to develop something like that. Flying sniper game mode. Yeah, in short answer, yes, we are working on more game modes. I don't. Yeah, we might do a deathmatch mode as like a fun game mode, but it's not the most compelling. This is kind of like deathmatch is really the most kind of bare bones game mode that you can get. It's literally just turn your brain off and kill people. We can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually very easy to implement. There is no great deal of work required to do that. So maybe we'll have a deathmatch mode in a certain map. But we are going to be working on other game modes that we hope to be more dynamic and interesting and objective based.
Okay, I'm still looking. See a lot about the ratio. In short, we just remind people if you're joining us after we talked about it, we don't have the conversion rate just yet. We're still finalizing the points. A lot of the work is really focused on removing botters or anyone that tried to claim Nyan fraudulently. That's a lot of the focus to make sure that those who are getting Nyan are those who are part of our community, are a real human. The multipliers are applied, so that won't be seen at the claim period, but the multipliers are applied to the total points when you're able to claim your 9 tokens tomorrow. Okay. Max, any questions you see in chat that you want to pick up? I think that's pretty much about it at this point.
Um,
Are there any
a lot of
plans to
questions.
changes
Oh,
with the
sorry, go ahead.
MMR? Yeah. Are you planning on any changes regarding the MMR system in the upcoming days?
MMR system, as I said, is kind of a first pass, and we already understand some of the limitations around it. Well, actually, I'll kind of take it a step further and say that there were probably numerous limitations with season 2 game mode. We really wanted to test out the sort of ranked idea and the MMR around it. And as I said, this is something that we were going to have to test out sooner or later anyway. And we did it sooner, and we got a lot of data. But ultimately, the problem in that some people had in season 2 is that we did everything through one queue. I think that is more or less the crux of the problem. But also at the same time, in sort of pre-alpha, we don't want to segment our player queues at this stage. We want to do it a bit later on when we have a much larger player base spread globally. Multiple servers, and then we can consider, I guess, segmenting that player base. So ideally, we have multiple queues. This is kind of the standard agreement in most competitive games. You have a quick match, which is unranked. You have then a ranked queue. Some games decide to take it even further and divide that ranked queue into a solo queue versus a full party based queue. We could also do that as well. Our end vision is that all of these different ranked modes have different queues. But we're kind of limited in pre-alpha where we kind of just funneled everyone through the same queue. Now, that obviously has a lot of problems because you have different player bases who have divergent goals that are playing in the same system. So the people that just want to solo grind and stomp, pub stomp noobs, solo queue, they didn't get that great experience. At the same time, people who just want to play casually in a 6-man group also didn't initially have a very great experience. But it's a symptom of putting everyone in the same queue. That is not our end goal. That is just what we currently did for season 2 so that we could get some data in order to craft that end vision with a better set of values and better set of data and ultimately more knowledge about how it's all working under the hood. Because you could have all these theories about how something works, you put it in practice, and it's completely different. So that's kind of our take on current season 2. And we have a lot of material that we can use to improve it. Same thing with the MMR. Ultimately, it was a pretty hardcore MMR system that I think a lot of players who aren't familiar with MMR, it is kind of take the standard MMR system, but then make it even more punishing. I would say that's probably a good summary of the current MMR system. So it works, but it's extremely punishing in the sense that if you pair up against a team that is a significantly lower MMR than your average team MMR, then you will essentially get almost no MMR for winning. And if you lose, you will lose a lot. And it's just based on the differential between your team MMR and the enemy team MMR. That's just what's happening. It's just, in the algorithm. Ultimately, we want to create something that's slightly less hardcore than that. This system out of the box was extremely hardcore and competitive. We don't want to make our system this hardcore until you get to the extreme kind of upper ranks. So, this system ultimately will work in an extremely competitive setting. But beyond that, for sort of more entry-level players, casual players, mid-core players, we want something that's a little more friendlier. Same kind of deal with the overall MMR system in terms of decay. I think that's something that we really need to consider putting in, especially at the high end of the MMR system. And again, this is something that a lot of games have. In League of Legends, for example, any player above gold, I think once you're in plat, you start to have decay if you don't play. This is something that ensures that that MMR pool can be constantly distributed through the entire player base, rather than just having players sit at the top, not distributing that MMR because they're not playing. So decay is something that we're looking into, for sure. Yeah, I think those are the main things off the top of my head that we have a lot of data and learnings from.
Okay, Max, thank you
Someone
so
said it's only
much.
in diamonds, so yeah, okay, my mistake. It's only in diamonds.
Okay, Max, thank you so much for taking the time out of your super busy schedule to chat with us in the community to go over TGE and the season 1 airdrop, what's going on for season 2, as well as the plans coming forward.
Oh, sorry, was that a question?
No,
Sorry, what did
it
I
was.
miss?
I said thanks.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. I've
And
lost it. Okay, I've lost the plot.
I know it's a bit late. I understand that. I get it. Thank you again so much for coming out, and thank you to everyone else. Just a quick summary again about it. Our TGE listing on our official listing partners is happening at 8 a.m. UTC tomorrow. Claim for the season 1 airdrop will be about 30 minutes or so beforehand. Plenty of time for you to claim your Nyan tokens, send it to whatever exchange you're going to list it at, if you're going to, or you're going to stake it, and then you'll be able to claim it. The claim period will be open for about 4 weeks time, so plenty of time to kind of claim it. You don't have to do it right away. There'll be lots of time to go and do it. With season 1, huge success. We're so happy to see everybody kind of come out and enjoy season 1 and kind of be here finally to get our Nyan tokens and our rewards for participating, as well as a lot of learning from season 2, what we're doing, what we're fixing, and to remind everyone, this is pre-alpha. If you're here now with us, you're early. We got a really fun journey ahead of us. A lot of improvements to be made, a lot of new features, and we'll make sure that everyone is included as part of this process. We wouldn't be able to be kind of where we are. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without our community. So thank you again, everyone, for attending. Max, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Thank you again.
Yep. Thank you, Diffy, for hosting. It was great. And yeah, big shout out to everyone that joined the space. Thank you so much for your support. Ultimately, we know that this is a really difficult space to be building in. We've been kind of executing for the last couple of years, and we're at a point now where we have a really solid product. We have a really solid base to build off of, and we have a great community that we've cultivated through the last couple of months, especially around our pre-alpha launch. We're really happy with where we are. We have a lot of plans moving forward, plans that extend beyond just Nyan Heroes. We kind of alluded to it in a few cryptic tweets. So, super excited for everyone to be here. Thank you so much for listening. I know it's been a long hour. Hopefully, you guys got enough alpha during this call. And ultimately, I know that you can't make everyone happy. Some people are sharing their points, screenshots in the thread here. You can kind of see, I think a lot of these people have really been grinding in the game. And so for anyone that isn't grinding as much, you're not going to have points in the sort of 6 figures, 7 figures that we've been seeing here. So take it with a grain of salt. Curb some expectations if you've got 10,000 points, for example. Ultimately, again, thank you everyone so much for being here. We hope you really enjoy the rest of the season. We've only got 6 days left, and looking forward to our exciting launch tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, everyone. A big meow for everybody in the community. Love to see that in chat for Max and the team and everyone else.
Meow.
Meow.